guys, welcome back to Scott Family Homestead. Today we're going to talk about our calving season. We are done for the year. All of the calves are here. I'm going to show you our older calves first and kind of recap and show you how much they've grown because it's absolutely wild. And then I'm going to show you our two new ones. So Suki and Rosie had their babies in the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to show you how we found them and how much they've grown already and how they are doing with their mamas. So this guy was our very first baby of the year, and he's already looking so stocky and tall. So let's go back in time a little bit to when Emerald was born.
Should have known, 10 below zero.
A calf who is struggling because of the cold. He's doing all right. We're just gonna get him as dry as we can. We're gonna dip his umbilical cord with some high concentration iodine so that he doesn't get any bacteria through that. Then we'll reunite him with his mama in the barnyard where we've got a camera on him. We can keep a close eye and see how he's doing and watch him over the next probably 48 hours. And then it's gonna warm up quite a bit, so he'll be in much better shape. So his mom is the tall Angus mix in the back. You can see he's almost as tall as some of these other mamas. He's grown quite a bit. 5 months old now. He's doing great. We call him Emmer. His coloring is beautiful. It's got that red. And then our next baby here is Moonstone. So he was our only calf that we actually got to watch being born. So Moonstone here is our little White Park Highland mix. You can see his horns are coming in. He's going to have those Highland horns. I'm really excited about it. He is definitely the biggest of the calves. He is almost a month younger than Emerald. They're about the same height already. So he's growing really well. He came from such a small mama. This is his mama, Martha. He's nearly as tall as her. It's really crazy how fast they have grown. This field has thankfully stayed nice and green. They've got lots to eat because this drought has really been getting us. In the last month and a half, it has rained less than a ½ inch total here. So it always goes just north of us or just south of us. We've been getting almost no rain. So the pastures are looking pretty brown, but this one out here at least has a lot of green underneath and they're still doing great. We did start feeding bales to all of our fields. All of our cows have the option of eating from a bale. Our third beef calf, another boy, is Jasper. We got really lucky and all of our beef calves are boys this year. So he is the smallest of the bunch. He also came from a pretty small mama. Little Hazel over here. He was the last of the three and the smallest of the three born in the spring. We noticed yesterday these guys were a little bit low on mineral, so we use a Redmond salt mineral It is a selenium mix because we are a little bit deficient on selenium here. Each of our fields has a little tub and they just have the free choice loose mineral. With our mamas, we also use a mineral conditioner, especially with our dairy girls. So Jasper also has the start of horns. You can kind of see him in there. With Emerald, I'm not sure if he's going to have them or not. He's got little tufts of hair, like maybe he's hiding some under there. But they're not as obvious as Moonstone's. He's got the most obvious, and I can definitely see some on Jasper. We'll just have to wait and see with Emerald. So these guys are all looking great. Really, really happy with them. Very interested to see how much they can grow in about 2 years' time. These three have all been banded, so they're all steers now. They will be part of our beef program, and we'll probably butcher right around 24 months. So they'll live together on pasture. They'll be grass-fed until about the last 2 months is when we start to kind of pour on the grain, fatten them up a little bit. But otherwise, they're just going to be happy little cows. All 5 calves that we have this year are highland mixes, and Digger is the daddy. We talked about replacing Digger with Dilly, so I'll show you him. So this is Dilly. We got him from a local organic farm. We just love him. We're so blessed to have him. Our one issue is that he likes to nurse on the mamas. Our milk cow let him nurse, and she raised him up, and now I've caught him trying to nurse on these mamas out here. So he's old enough that he doesn't need to be doing that. So we might have to move him out of here, get him out with our older steer. He was born in December, and he will be our next bull. The plan was to keep back any beef heifers that were Highland Cross that we had this year, and we didn't get any. We got all bulls. So while I'm really happy for our beef program that we're going to have a lot of beef in a couple of years, we can't quite replace him yet because I still want some Highland mixes. So we're talking about getting him a couple of purebred Highland ladies. He is a purebred Highland, so it'd be kind of cool to have like a little Highland herd where he can hang out. Dilly's not quite breeding age yet, and so we can hold off a little bit longer. Next year's round of calves will also all be Highland mix. So he must have heard our plan because he gave us a whole bunch of boys, so we can't get rid of them yet. Now we do have Margie. We held her back from last year. She is nearly a year old now. She is Suki's baby from last year. She is beautiful. She's got horns. She's very small. She's a mini. I don't know if she has the mini gene, but she's going to be very small. We cannot breed her back to Digger, and so we're probably going to put her and Dilly together. We also have Sage. She's a little over a year old now. She's about ready to be bred. And we have Basil. She's over a year old and ready to be bred. All right, now we'll head back to our home field and I'll show you our 2 newest babies. This is pretty much unrelated, but I want to show you this because we have been working on cleaning out this barn, and we took this tarp off that was draped all the way across from that beam to that beam, and now you can see the whole ceiling of the barn. How cool is that? Very, very cool. Still lots of cleanup to do, but we filled a dumpster. We did our 2026 clean out. Now we're working on sweeping up hay, cleaning things out, sorting and organizing. We really love this barn. We have both Suki and Rosie in here, and normally we have them calved down in the barnyard where we can kind of keep a close eye on them. But they've both done pretty well with having babies in the past, so we let them stay out on the field, and they did great. They picked kind of a lower spot to have their babies, where it's usually a little bit wet, so there was lots of flies. So you'll see in the clips, lots of flies, but we did get fly spray on them shortly afterwards, and everybody was all good. It's a little bit of a hazard of calving in the summer and fall time versus spring. The first one to calve was Suki. We knew they were going to be due around the same time, and I always want to call her Lorelei, but Rosie. Lorelei was our first milk cow. We had Rosie timed to August 9th, and so Suki had her baby on the 4th. So Suki girl here, she's like 9 years old. So I was really happy that she took in the same amount of time that Rosie did. So I was really happy with that. Last year it took her a few cycles, but she had a beautiful, beautiful little bull calf. So he's still a bull. He will be made into a steer. But these guys all came up here and she was mooing like crazy, which had me really concerned. So I came out with treats and I gave them each some treats, but she would not eat them. And she just kept mooing at me and then she wandered off. So I followed her thinking maybe something was going on. It didn't look like she had had a baby, but I was curious because she doesn't usually act like that. And so I followed her down into the low spot back there, and sure enough, she was hiding her little baby boy. Good job, Mama. I think he's the prettiest of the bunch of all 5 calves, with that little black nose and the black eyeliner, that deep rich color. Such a pretty calf. So the last one to have her baby was Rosie, and she had her right on time, August 8th, so just one day before her due date, in the same little low spot. The neighbors sent us a message and said, hey, that Jersey had her baby, and so I ran out there. But everything went smoothly, she didn't need any help, and when Ryan got home we got to milk her for the first time. Our milk cow, Rosie, had her baby, a little Highland Jersey cross. It is a heifer. She's absolutely adorable. We are now in the barn getting ready for our first milking, and I'm going to show you what we're up to. So we are latching baby on. Rosie has a lot of milk, so it's been running out, so baby's just kind of been lapping it up and not really latching. So we're just kind of teaching her where that milk is. So we're just trying to teach her where that milk comes from and not just to get the little bits that's dripping out. You can see the blue stuff on the ground is some cow mag that we gave Rosie. She's a high producer and high risk for milk fever. It's never been a problem before, but we like to give that preventatively right from the get-go. Looks like baby is getting that colostrum. That's that first little batch of milk that is meant for the calf. And Rosie will produce extra colostrum, so we're going to milk her out a little bit here. Almost got lots of milk and quite a bit of edema. That's the swelling. That's not all milk because she won't produce that much colostrum, but with time that'll start to go down a little bit. She'll get into her normal milking routine.
Got pull the teat and squish all the milk out of the teat. You sometimes gotta do 2 at a time. So that's why you need 2.
So with these two, that wraps up calving season. And see, this pasture is really suffering compared to the other one. So these guys are eating from bales, and we're doing a little bit more grain with them, especially with the dairy girls. Hoping for rain sooner than later. So we were super happy to have a heifer from our milk cow because we can keep her as a milk cow. People do milk highlands, and so I think a highland Jersey cross will be really interesting, whether we keep her for ourselves or sell her eventually. I think that's going to be a really interesting mix. She's so cute. She kind of looks like a teenager with a bad hair day because she's got all that highland hair on the top of her head. But she's adorable. Yeah, you, little cutie. So with our dairy cows, you'll see their ribs, and that is very normal. So Rosie's in about perfect condition right now. The issue is that with dairy cows, the first 3 months of lactation, their condition declines. You don't want them to get into a condition that they can't recover from. So we're watching her very carefully. We are giving her grain with her feedings. I know some people want to raise grass-fed dairy cows. And while it is possible, it takes generations of genetics to get a truly grass-fed dairy cow. We grain feed our dairy cows heavily. So at both milkings, morning and evening, she's getting a heavy dose of grain. We also use beet pulp. You can soak it, and that can help condition quite a bit. There's other options for feeding dairy cows, like adding alfalfa or sunflower seeds, and everything kind of does a different thing. So what she needs in her condition the way it is right now is corn and beet pulp. Try to get her condition up, or at least keep it from deteriorating. What we don't want to do is add alfalfa, because that makes more milk production, and she gives about 4 gallons a day, so we definitely don't need to be boosting that if we want to be able to calf share and possibly skip milkings once in a while. So we're gonna be staying away from alfalfa pellets, at least for now. Sunflower seeds can add more cream, which can be helpful when you're calf sharing because they'll hold back cream for their babies. We're not using a ton of cream right now, so we're not gonna add that yet either. So she's just gonna get a good grain from our feed mill, as well as the soaked beet pulp. And hopefully that will maintain her condition, along with pasture, hay, and minerals. So you can just tell with Sage too, she's kind of on the thinner side. You do not want Jerseys to be overweight. You need to be able to see at least some ribs. So I know that concerns some people, but these guys are in great condition right now. So she's looking pretty good. We do expect that she'll start to look a little rough as time goes on, but we're going to manage her the best we can for that. We'll get into more of that as time goes on. When our dairy cows have their babies, we milk them at the next milking time. So if we normally milk at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., and we just milk at the next time, they would be ready for it. So since she had her baby like around noon, that evening we milked her for colostrum. All of our colostrum gets freeze-dried, anything that we milk out. So that is life-saving milk that can be used for calves later on, and so we always make sure to preserve that. It takes up a ton of room in the freezer, so we prefer the freeze dryer. I have the medium harvest right, and each of my trays takes a quart of liquid, and I have the 4-tray model. This is the older one. They now hold more, but basically I can put 1 gallon in there, and I package 2 trays of powder into a single Mylar bag. All I have to do is empty that Mylar bag into a half-gallon bottle and then top it off with water, and it will rehydrate into colostrum. So that's the way we prefer to do it. I know freeze dryers, it's kind of debatable whether they're worth the investment for just preserving food, but since we're using it for farm things like milk, colostrum, eggs, things that would be taking up a ton of room in the freezer, it's definitely worth it for us. So I am an affiliate for Harvest Right. I always have my link in the description, so if it's something you're interested in, it might be worth it to you if you do have a milk cow. So because this little guy changes colors, we named him Alexandrite. It's a gem that changes colors in different light, and we call him Xander. I thought that was really cute. He's got some little white splotches under his belly. He just has the coolest coloring. Then this little girl is named Jade. We were thinking Jade or Opal or Pearl, and the kids all voted. So they decided on her name and they decided on Jade. So I really like that. I think it's perfect. I think I'll get her a little green halter. So that wraps up our year of gemstones. Since that was our naming theme, we ended up with emerald, moonstone, jasper, xander, and jade. Next up, we are waiting on piglets. So we should have 2 rounds of piglets next month from Babette and Willow. They definitely both look pregnant to me, but it's hard to tell this far out. So they'll be the next round of babies, and then we're pretty much done for the year. We generally don't name our piglets unless we're keeping them for breeding. I'm not sure if we'll hold one back or not, because then we'd have to get a new boar, but I'm kind of on the lookout for a old spot boar. If I can find one, we might do some trades and maybe keep a couple of girls, but that's very debatable. So we'll see how that goes. I always put them back in together at the same time, so they're gonna farrow around the same time. We only have 1 barn stall, so we have to do like a little bit of shuffling, but we will figure it out. It worked just fine in the spring, but I'm very excited to have piglets again. We just have 6 feeder pigs right now that are growing out, and they are gonna go to butcher right before Christmas, and around that time we'll put new piglets out on the pasture. So it's very exciting, very fun. Lots of babies here. Definitely the very best part of farming is welcoming all the new life and the new babies. We really love it. The kids love it. It's definitely a fan favorite too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Wrapping up calving season 2026. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye guys.